Killer kangaroos as a zombie. What could be scarier for you tourists when you come here to Australia for a visit? I'm the Arty Dance. Welcome to Shockmania, and this is my review of The Red, also known around the world as Rippy, and it's coming out just in time for Halloween. This Australian monster zombie movie is about a huge red kangaroo that, well, turns into a zombie and starts ripping up people. There is a police officer in the town that all these murders occur in, and she and a handful of other people from the town, including the very awesome Michael Biehn, who plays a really odd character, try to defeat the kangaroo in a kind of way for her to make peace with something that her father did. This movie was something that I was very excited about. Being an Australian, and an Australian movie about killer kangaroos, obviously something that I would get very excited about, and hopefully you would too. I was quite pleasantly surprised with the movie, but not mind blown, which is a bit of a shame because I wanted to utterly adore the movie and tell you out there, go watch it now. The biggest issue I think with the film is all of the drama elements to it, revolving around our main character, Maddie, and her past with her father. I think there's just a little bit too much of it. I don't think it adds the punch to the storyline that the script writers and the director were going for. And the issue is that if you'd have removed a lot of that element from it, you probably would have only had about a 50 to 60 minute movie. So I get it, it's there for runtime padding. It just doesn't add much overall, which is a bit of a shame because the actual kangaroo killing bits are awesome. It's quite violent, quite bloody, also quite CGI heavy, as you could probably expect. Now, yesterday we looked at Coonan, and that was a puppet. This time in the Rippy, they've gone directly with CGI, and it's not the greatest looking CGI, I have to admit. Now, how do you make a zombie kangaroo look realistic? That's a challenge, and I get it. That's a big challenge. The issue is when you do see Rippy on the screen, he's clearly CGI, and that might take away from your immersion in the film if you're a bit sensitive to it. Those of us who love our B-grade movies and who love our kind of silly horror films are probably going to really love it. I know I enjoyed it, even though I had to take away the fact that, yeah, he's doesn't look great, but he is a zombie. Now, there is an issue with the film that they don't exactly explain how Rippy turns into a zombie. It's alluded to a couple of times that it's from the mining town, the water in the mining town. There's a reference to the Billabong's water not being as healthy as it used to be, which kind of makes me wonder why there aren't other zombie animals in the film, why it's just the one kangaroo. Also, at the end, there's a kind of like a cartoon that shows during the end credits that again alludes to the fact that it's the mining company responsible for turning Rippy into a zombie. The movie also leaves itself kind of open for a sequel, which don't know how I feel about. I like movies like this that should just be self-contained. Now, you're probably wondering how Michael Biehn is in the movie. He plays a character called is it Schnitty? I think Schultz Schnitty, and he's got a dog called Ralphie. Now, initially, I thought that was a reference to Terminator 2, but then I remembered the dog was called Wolfie, not Ralphie, when the Arnie character is trying to find out, whether the Eddie Furlong's parents are dead. This seems to be, Ralphie seems to be more of a reference, at least to me, to the nutty character from Friday the 13th, Part 1. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Michael Biehn's character is very eclectic. I think he hams it up fantastically in this movie. And he's an executive producer of the film, so he had a bit of a say about how he could play his character, which I'm more than happy with. And look, for these Australian movies to get international releases, they do tend to rely on having a headlined American cast name in it. Late Night with the Devil, another great example of having an American actor in it, so that the movie can be sold overseas. Should you watch The Red? Because that's what I'm calling it. It's called The Red, even though you'll probably find it everywhere as The Rippy. Inside the movie, it's still called The Red. Should you watch The Red? Well, yeah, if you're interested in Australian horror, if you like Australian monstery kind of movies, and think back to, you know, our crocodile creature features like Bait, even some of our earlier stuff from the 80s, some of the crazy stuff from there, I think that you'll find some enjoyment in this. There's a lot of great sweeping shots of the outback. There's a lot of very nice night shots, and audio is used quite well too. The characters constantly mention that when it goes completely silent, they know something's wrong, because while the outback is a quiet place, it's also quite noisy with all the wildlife making all their noises. So I think that Rippy is a fun film. I just think it could have done a little bit more and maybe reduced some of that drama element. So using my patent pending ghost rating, which stands for Great Horror or Stupid Trash, this gets 3 ghosts. I really wanted to give it 4 ghosts. I was so close to doing it because I really wanted to support this Australian movie and give it the kind of push that it deserves. But I just think the drama element, the Maddie and her father element, just take too much away from the actual film itself. I'll give a big thumbs up to Aaron Pedersen's character. I loved seeing him on screen. It's a shame what happens to him, but I think he's him and Michael Biehn are 2 of the greatest characters in the movie, as well as the coroner. I think the coroner is quite funny as well. But if you've seen The Red or Rippy, what did you think of it? Is it a movie that you would recommend other people to watch, or is it just going to get lost in all the other zombie and monster movies that are out there? I'd be interested to know what your opinion is down below in the comments. I am the Artie Dans. You are watching Shockmania. Thank you for tuning in as we approach 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate your support. Otherwise, I will catch you next time.